how's it going, guys? I'm here to do a review of Dragon Ball Super Episode 54. And as I say before every review of the episodes, do not watch if you guys do not want to be spoiled. And for those who want to know what happened this week, just sit back, relax, and just enjoy the video. So this week's Dragon Ball Super episode is titled Inheritor of the Saiyan Blood, Trunks Resolve. And as you can tell by the title, this episode is mainly surrounded by Trunks. There are little bits and pieces that are not around Trunks, but the majority of the episode is about Trunks, as was the episode of Gohan talking with Trunks, and they haven't seen each other for 17 years. So, the episode begins with a small preview of last week. And for those who saw last week, we saw the fight between Zamasu and Goku. And Zamasu being surprised on how strong Goku is. And Goku realizing that Zamasu is ki is very similar to Black. It may not be identical, but it's very, very similar. And then the episode doesn't really start until we see Pilaf waking up, and he starts walking and he's talking to himself while rubbing his eyes, and he goes into Bulma's lab while Bulma's still working on the time machine. And we see Bulma's father, and there's a little robot helper who's pouring the fuel in the canister. And Dr. Briefs, Bulma's father, puts on the top to cover the fuel, and it covers itself in this black film, as we saw in the future with Bulma closing the little bit of fuel that she had in there for Trunks to go back into the past. And Pilaf is there. He sits on the chair and he sees the computer. He's looking at it. It's like, what the hell are these numbers and symbols and whatnot? He doesn't really say that, but that's what it seems like. But then he just starts pressing some numbers. Bulma sees what he's doing. She yells at him, and then she jumps down, goes to see what Pilaf was doing, and sees that whatever he was doing actually kind of helped. And it's not a big thing, but it kind of bothers me that Bulma doesn't know who Pilaf was. I mean, Pilaf and his gang, Pilaf, Shu, and Mai, met Bulma and Goku way back in Dragon Ball. And, they're the reasons why Goku went ape. Because they were fighting him, so I just don't understand how Bulma doesn't remember Pilaf gang, but it's not too big. That's not important. This review may not be all that long, because I just want to pinpoint the important parts. I mean, I just mentioned about Pilaf. That's not important, but it was a part of the episode that was really funny, and I thought it was cool. And then we cut to a scene of Trunks flying down onto the water, and he lets out a breath of air, and he closes his eyes, and it's a scene of the future, and there's Black Goku and there's Trunks, and Trunks is imagining himself fighting Black, trying to get his revenge against him of what he did in the future and what he did to his mom and Mai. And we cut back to Trunks in present time, and he spits out some blood, which I understand. I don't understand why that happens when no one's beating him up on the outside. And it kind of reminded me of The Matrix when Agent Smith was fighting Neo in his mind, and then he wakes up and he spits blood. It's like no one was fighting you on the outside. It was all in the inside of your mind, but yet you're still spitting blood. And then we cut back to the scene where Black is fighting Goku, and Trunks is he lunges with his sword, but he misses. And Black is behind him, and he lets out this giant ki blast, and it blows, all you see is the light, which means that the ki blasts are blowing Trunks up. And then Trunks is on one knee, breathing heavy, because, I guess, again, the Matrix. But then another scene that was really, really important was the scene with Gowasu and Zamasu. And Zamasu had made some tea for Gowasu, and the tea had looked different. It wasn't like normal tea. There was tea, and there was these black specks that were in the tea, and I was confused. Did Zamasu deliberately mess with the tea so he can knock out Gowasu, or him making the tea that way is showing that he's not all that pure no more? Well, we all know he's not pure, but Gowasu would like to think that Zamasu is pure. And Gowasu, makes a little joke about the tea not being so perfect anymore. And they are at a table, and Gowasu's looking at his crystal ball. Now, what Gowasu is looking at, he's looking at another planet with these two barbarians, and what he's looking at, the two barbarians are on the planet Babari, which is the pun for barbarian, and he wants to see how they act. And just like Gowasu told Zamasu last week, all humans, or all Ningen, and according to Zamasu, everybody's a Ningen, and that are non-gods. Whoever are not gods, like not any Haikaishin, Kaioshin, Grand Kaioshin, all those that are below the gods are Ningen, and it doesn't mean human. All mortals, and it doesn't count gods, androids, and some other people, or any other mortals. And then Gowasu gets up, and they walk inside their room or palace, and there's a red barrier in front of hundreds and hundreds of drawers. And Gowasu takes his right hand and swipes it right, and the barrier is gone. Gowasu opens a door, and it was the box of time rings that they showed Beerus and Whis last week. And Gowasu had a plan of going to planet Babari to see how the barbarians had acted in person. And he wanted to take Zamasu on a field trip to have Zamasu better understand how Ningen acts. Now, Zamasu had an idea and told Gowasu, hey, why don't we skip 1,000 years into the future to see how these barbarians act? So this scene was really cool, and it was very ironic. Or there was a lot of hints in this scene. Gowasu takes his left Potara earring off and tells Zamasu to take his earrings off. Both of his earrings, not just one, but both. And he gives him his green Potara earring, and Zamasu puts it on his left ear. And I paused the scene there, and it was very, very ironic. It was I guess you can say foreshadowing, but it was hinting towards something. What that something is, I don't know, but Zamasu looks very, very close to Black. Without looking like Goku, but he has the left green Potara earring on. And you also notice that with the Dragon Ball Heroes God Mission 10, that was also posted all over Facebook, all over Twitter, and in Japan we also saw that too. So after Zamasu puts on the Potara earring, Gowasu puts his hand out like he was going to fist bump Zamasu. So Zamasu takes his hand and they connect, and there's this swirling vortex around them, imitating the time fast forwarding. So it stops, and they're 1,000 years into the future. And this time they're still on planet Babari, but this time the scene is different. There's a fire going on, and there's 4 barbarians. And 2 barbarians had crossed paths with each other, and they didn't like each other. So one of the barbarians had whacked the other one with his club, and they start fighting. And the other 2 barbarians come in and start fighting. And it just shows that the barbarians on planet Babari are not going to change at all. And that's exactly what Zamasu says, that these barbarians are not going to change at all. So then we cut back to Universe 7, or back to present time, and everybody's eating. We see Goku sit next to Beerus. We see Whis standing up. We see Whis and Trunks talking, and we see Vegeta stuffing his face. We see everybody stuffing their face, but Whis and Trunks are talking. And Trunks had mentioned he wants to be strong like Goku, and asked if Whis or Beerus can train him. And Vegeta stands up and was like, "Oh, I can train you." And that's when Beerus stands up and was like, "Oh, all of you can handle that on your own. We need to leave." So they leave, and we cut to a scene with Vegeta and Trunks. They're in this wood type area with a lake around next to them, and there's a cut scene to the past, and this time we get to see what happened in the Room of Spirit of Time during the Cell Saga of Vegeta and Trunks' training. And in the flashback, we see Vegeta talking about, there's another form past Super Saiyan. It is called Ascended Super Saiyan, or or Vegeta calls it Super Vegeta. And we all know by now that there's another form past the Ascended Super Saiyan, which is Super Saiyan Grade 3, or Ultra Super Saiyan, which is what Goku had showed Gohan, and what Trunks had did after Vegeta was knocked out, and he showed Cell that form. And Cell had told him, well, yes, your power has increased significantly, but you're much slower, which that's exactly what Goku had told Gohan, that the Super Saiyan Grade 3 or Ultra Super Saiyan may be strong, but it is also slow, so they don't have a chance of fighting Cell. And it was very nostalgic to see Trunks go Super Saiyan Grade 3 or Ultra Super Saiyan, because the last time we saw that was again in the Cell Saga against Cell, when Cell had knocked out Vegeta. And then Vegeta goes and attempts to go hit Trunks, and Trunks goes back to Super Saiyan 2. And he was like, "Oh, well, Goku can go Super Saiyan 3, so I want to obtain the power of Super Saiyan 3. And Vegeta just laughs, and he goes Super Saiyan Blue. And this wakes up Goku. Goku was taking a nap, and that wakes him up. And Goku teleports himself to where they are, and he teleports himself and Bulma there. And he said that this is Super Saiyan Boru, or which is also known as Super Saiyan Blue. It is not Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan no more. The official name, I've said multiple times, is Super Saiyan Blue, but since people want to argue with me and tell me no, it's not, it's Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, it is not. Okay, just because in Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle they still have SSGSS, or in Xenoverse and maybe Xenoverse 2, they'll have SSGSS, but in the anime and in the manga, it is called Super Saiyajin Boru. And then Vegeta just zooms to Trunks, and he just starts beating him and beating him. But before all of that happened, Vegeta tells Trunks, well, here's the deal. If you can land one hit on me, I'll train you. And then that's where Trunks goes to Ultra Super Saiyan. He goes back to Super Saiyan 2. Vegeta turns Super Saiyan, or he goes Super Saiyan Blue. And he just starts attacking with multiple blows to the body and to the face, and Trunks blocking some of them, and they zip right past Goku and Bulma, and Bulma's freaking out. She thinks that Vegeta is going too hard on Trunks, and then Vegeta lands one blow to Trunks' stomach, and that's where he goes back to base form, and he's on the ground, and he's thinking about Goku and Vegeta being in their Super Saiyan Blue form and against Trunks, or against Blacks, excuse me, and he thinks to himself, well, if Goku and my dad Vegeta can go to can have this god power, I myself don't have to train. I have to train. And Vegeta didn't like hearing that, even though he didn't say it out loud, but Vegeta understood that, which I don't understand how he heard that if he mumbled it. But then he grabs Trunks the same way he grabbed Kaba, and that's where Goku had flew over with Bulma and said that's enough. And Trunks, he hits Trunks into a mountain or a rock, and he's just there and he smiles. And this time, when he saw Bulma, or when Vegeta saw Bulma, he went back to his base form. And when Vegeta wasn't paying attention, Trunks let out a sneak attack, and he headbutts him, and he knocks Vegeta on the ground. And Vegeta's very shocked, and Trunks tells Vegeta, well, you know what, I'm gonna surpass you and Black. And Trunks puts his hand out, he's gonna help his father up, and he just walks away. And then it cuts to Beerus and Whis, and Whis is making some stir fry. They're making some food because Beerus is hungry, and we all know Beerus is a fat ass. And then Whis' staff goes off just like a telephone. It's ringing and ringing, and Beerus is too lazy to pick it up, and Whis is like, pick it up already. He's like, alright, fine, I'll pick it up. He grabs the staff, and the one person that he didn't expect to calls, and it was Zeno-sama. And he freaks out. He jumps up in the air, he moves back, his eyes are all bugged out like he was on some ecstasy or something, and he moves closer to the table, and he bows down, but his head breaks the table. And the reason why Zeno-sama was calling was because Zeno-sama wanted to talk to Goku, and both Beerus and Whis was very surprised. And I was surprised that Whis had a reaction to that, because Whis normally doesn't care about what's going on. But they both had let out a shriek again, and both Beerus and Whis' eyes were bugged out like they were on some ecstasy again. And it cuts off right there. And then we get the scene of next week. And for next week's episode, we see Goku, Beerus, and Whis go to Supreme Kai's planet. We get to see Supreme Kai this time, and they're talking. I'm not all too sure what they're talking about. When I watch the episode tomorrow with the subtitles, I'll have a better understanding. And maybe I'll make a small video about what's gonna happen next week with the preview. And then we see a new Kaioshin, and it was a complete new Kaioshin. It's a new character. We don't know the name. We don't know what he or she can do, because I don't want to say he and it's a she, and I don't want to say she and it's a he. So I'll say he or she, or I can say it, but it's easier to say he or she. And we don't know what he or she can do. And if I were to let out one guess, and my guess is The reason why this Kaioshin is showing up is because Zeno-sama wants to have that Kaioshin train Goku. And I guess that's the reason why Zeno-sama was calling Beerus and Whis to begin with, because they wanted to talk about the upcoming Omniversal Tournament. And that was that. It showed that scene, and it went off. The episode stopped. So let me know what you guys thought about the episode. There were some funny parts. It was very informative when it needed to be, and then it was, even if the fight was a little quick, it wasn't all that long. It was pretty good to see Vegeta and Trunks fighting once again, just like they did in the Cell Saga. So again, let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Thumbs up if you liked it. Share to those who want to know what happened in tonight's episode. And you guys, if I were to leave a question or whatever, is what was your favorite part of the episode? You know, just just say, oh, my favorite part was such and such, and you don't have to say why. Just tell me what your favorite part was, and that's that. So I'm gonna leave it off here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.